Hello, my name's Jonathan and I'm the writer of Demons. So Demons is about a group of young people from Newcastle and Gateshead who meet once a week in Lowfell in Gateshead to play Dungeons and Dragons. And the play takes place over the course of one evening where they meet up and try and play a session of the campaign that they've been playing for the last year. And of course things do not quite go to plan. And really, I suppose what it's about is what the game does for each of those 5 young people. So whether that's escaping their own problems or allowing it to imagine a version of themselves that they might want to be. It's kind of about that interesting relationship between the game and reality and the characters that they all choose to play. And the reason that I wanted to write it, I suppose, I mean, D&D has been a huge part of my life, and also one of the first places that I sort of encouraged to write creatively, I suppose, indirectly. I might not have realised that at the time, but D&D is very much about creating your own character and maybe even creating your own world and then choosing what the story is that you want to tell in that world. And it would only have been many years later where I was kind of considering trying to write it as a career. And I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, I see why. Like, I've always loved writing, and D&D was just one of the first places that I started doing that. Yeah, in short, it was great. So Reese was the takeover writer the first time that Customs House ever ran the project. So that was like a really nice full circle moment. Like, the mentor was once a mentee, and that also meant that Reese had like a real understanding of the process. So that was really, really helpful. But also, like, he had such insight on the script, and I kind of brought him this first draft that I'd brought together, and was definitely quite rough around the edges. And his feedback was so useful, from like really large scale stuff that like massively shaped how I kind of honed the structure of the final piece that everyone will see, but also even like really finicky stuff that like I needed that assistance with. No, in short, don't worry. If you have played D&D and you do love it, there's definitely a few nods in the script. If you've never picked up a D20 in your life, if you don't even know what a D20 is, don't worry, you can still come and have a good time. And maybe you'll want to play sometime, who knows. While in full long games of D&D, there is a lot of rolling dice and adding up numbers and scrolling through the books to try and work out what your next subclass is going to be and working out your modifier. That's not very interesting to watch dramatically, and so the focus really, when they are playing the game, and that world of the game sometimes like takes over a little bit, is about the story. Do not worry, the script is not filled with horrific amounts of jargon that you will not understand. It's really just about the story that those 5 people are telling together, and their like relationships to that story, and then obviously their relationships with each other as well. There are 5 mint young actors who are making up the cast of this play, and Aidan's a first-time director, and he's doing an amazing job as well. I'm just buzzing about the whole team that's behind this, everyone at the Customs House. So come and see what everyone's sort of created together, really, because I'm really excited for that. If you've ever seen Stranger Things, you know, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, if you've seen The Witcher, any fantasy, and you've enjoyed that slightly fantastical world of magic and monsters, you'll probably get a bit of a kick out of this, because that's what D&D is all about. And also it is a play about that, but it's also about the Northeast and about young people in the Northeast, and maybe a corner of that you might not have seen before. It's a bit of a fringier space, and I think when we're telling stories about where we're from, the Northeast is such a culturally rich place, and I just think it's really exciting to see as many corners of that as possible. I think there are some quite heartfelt moments as well, so there's sort of something for everyone in that regard. So yeah, come on down.